you smell what The Rock is cooking?
Hello, world. What's up, everyone? This is Dave from the Fight Bananas podcast. How's everyone doing out there? Guys, the last episode that just dropped was all about UFC 244. I even made predictions on what I think UFC 250 is going to be. I talked about Jorge Masvidal. I talked about Corey Anderson, but it wasn't enough. Cam Bennett, been on the show multiple times on the Fight Bananas podcast, wanted to come on and talk UFC 244, and he had some, can I say, some problems with my UFC 250 predictions. So Cam Bennett knocked on the door, eating donuts, and he wanted to talk. And hey, he's a fighter. I'm not. So Cam Bennett is going to go bananas. All right, guys, on the line, he knocked on the door. I think he's a little upset with me. I don't know. Cam Bennett on the line. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, man. Good. UFC 244 in the books. I talked about it, Cam. I think it's going to be one of these things 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now. We're going to be talking about this event. The Rock, Donald Trump, the BMF title, new superstars, Kevin Lee, Corey Anderson. I thought it was a stacked show.
Yes. I was shocked by Corey Anderson. The way he came out there. Kevin Lee surprised me with that knockout. And, the Rock walking out there was cool. I mean, I had my opinion on who could have put the BMF title on the winner. But, I mean, the Rock's cool too.
Okay, so if it wasn't The Rock, who would do it for you? Who's your guy?
I mean, Mike Tyson was a good idea by Diaz. I would agree with Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson would be cool.
A losing idea.
I mean, yeah, Mike Tyson would probably have been mine.
No,
my friend over here is saying Stone Cold Steve Austin, but I think I'd probably go to Rock still.
No, and those are both good options. But The Rock does have a relationship. He is a Miami guy. He is a Masvidal guy. So there's already a little bit of a tie there. And, it's a business, it's a entertainment, it's a show. There's something about Masvidal and The Rock being in the ring together, holding the title up. I thought it was just awesome. I thought it was electric.
Yes, I thought the whole walkout with Rock and the BMF title was super sick.
Yeah, they did
really cool.
They did a really good job. It's a fight show, and it's always going to go down to the fights itself. It's going to talk about how about Edmund, that new in the prelim, he's a new middleweight contender. We can talk about Wonderboy Thompson, how he's back in the welterweight title contention.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, it's a show. It's a BMF title. It's how funny Masvidal is. Post interview, Derek Black Beast Lewis is the mayor of Madison Square Garden. So the event was just epic.
Yes, overall it was just killer. I really loved having Stephen Thompson come back and get the W. Luque is a beast though, man. He took some shots and just kept coming forward. But I'm a big fan of Thompson. I really love how he carries himself, and he's a role model for me with his Christian walk and how he handles fighting and how he just carries himself as a person. So it was nice to see him get back on the winning track. I thought I saw a dead body in Gillespie when he got kicked in the head.
Wow.
That's
a moment. That was a moment. Madison Square Garden, it's the pay-per-view, it's the first fight. I'm so pumped. The prelims I thought were just amazing. And then It's like, okay, cool, let's go. Kevin Lee, Gregor, 155. And then boom, that head kick from Kevin Lee puts Kevin Lee right back in the map, puts him right back in contention.
Yes.
And he's a part of my UFC 250 fight prediction. We'll go back to that later. I know you're not super happy with my picks. I don't know. We'll talk about that soon. But Kevin Lee, tremendous performance, and he's back in the title contention.
Definitely. As you said, the prelims were very good. I was shocked by Corey flipping the script on Johnny Walker. I didn't see him. I thought, if anything, if he'd get the job done, I thought it'd be a decision win. And then he goes out there and stomps him.
Annihilates. It's just nuts.
Yeah. And then Kevin Lee, I really like how now Kevin Lee, and I think we'll see a different Kevin Lee coming up just because he's with Firas Zahabi over at TriStar, and he's finally got like an actual head coach. And Firas being the mind he is in MMA. So I'm excited to see where that goes. The only fight that I was like slightly disappointed by was Till and Gastelum.
Why is that?
Because it just felt like Gastelum never pulled the trigger, in my opinion. I don't know what it was. He never, and I mean, maybe it could have been just the respect on both sides. I know Till talked about how he was terrified about the fight just based off the past two things, that you go from being on the top of the world to Deep Valley. That's a fight game. And how he's talking about possibly trying to fake an injury before he even walked out there because he just didn't want to go out there. I think Till will start creeping back into his old self. But I feel like Gastelum just didn't pull the trigger. I just don't know why. I'm not sure.
No, I watched that fight too, and sometimes fight of the year, to me, that Gas versus Stylebender around 4 or 5 months ago. It's a magic. It's sometimes you're feeling a little bit more funky, or sometimes playing basketball you feel hot. You just never shoot that good again, right? Same thing with fighting. I just think that for whatever reason, that neither guy kind of pushed it to 10. Neither guy kind of went for the win, and they were just both, I thought they both thought they were winning, and if the MMA would ever get a scoreboard like the Fight Bananas podcast have been saying for a year now, maybe they would know where they're at. But I thought both men thought, okay, I'm kind of winning this. Both guys, could knock out the other one. They don't want to lose it, and it was a lot of pressure too. Let's just throw that out there. I know Kelvin's been in main event fights, so has Till, but this night, UFC 244, Madison Square Garden, the President Trump's there, Rock is there, like all this just extra media was just surrounding this. People were telling me, medium people, fans, like there was just something else was different in that arena. It was literally electric. So, maybe for both men, the stage was just a little bit like different, and they just, never got into the flow. And, it happens. It happens sometimes.
Yeah.
How about the Francis Ngannou versus, was it Derek Lewis? It was the worst fight ever in the history of MMA.
Oh my gosh. I was so upset by that fight.
So you just sometimes.
That fight was awful.
Yeah, you just never know. Like in that fight, everyone said, you look at those two men, heavyweight knockout, artist. And you're like, oh, this fight's going to go 1 minute, and it went 15 minutes of nothing. So it's just. It's the fight game, like you said. You never know. But we've went at least 3 or 4 minutes too long, and we haven't mentioned Jorge Masvidal. So let's just talk about him for the next 2 hours. The BMF. That's my man. I can't believe I'm so pumped for Masvidal.
I will say, I was on the podcast, and I said I think Diaz might edge him out, But coming into this past 2 weeks, I just kept sitting there, and I kept watching, like, interviews of him. I just kept thinking about, like, he just kept growing on me. I'm like, man, he's cool. He's just cool. Like, no disrespect to Diaz. Like, I love Diaz, too. But, like, the more I thought about it, I was like, Masvidal has just come on this past couple fights. He went on that show. I read something about, he was talking about that TV show he went on.
Right. Oh, it was overseas.
And he was off by himself, and he had to really look at himself, and he found out who he was. And that's when that whole, the resurrection and, baptizing people came about.
Yep.
I mean, I love the mentality. I just love everything about that. It's solid.
I know, man. I've been on this for probably a year as well. Always a fan of his work, but something changed, something clicked. Everything outside the octagon, his momentum, his mojo, he's super funny, but like he's not trying to be funny. He's not Jim Carrey or Will Ferrell here. He's just like literally being real. I love when the media guy was asking about Conor. He's like, "What do you mean? Like, he's coming back." Coming back to what? Cage fighting? Like just he knows what he's saying. Trust me, he is so uber smart. He knows what he's like. He's setting the media up in a way. He's just on point. And Cam, you being the fighter, I don't have to say this out loud. Momentum in the fight game is just so real. It's a feeling of invincibility, and that's what Masvidal has right now. He's just the hottest. There's no question. Anyone who wants to argue this point, meet me in the parking lot at Dunkin' Donuts, and I will fight them to the death match. Jorge Masvidal is the fighter of 2019. There's just no one close.
I think so too. I was talking to my friend over here, and he's a big Adesanya fan, and he thinks Adesanya should be fighter of the year. And I mean, Adesanya's performance against Whitaker was fantastic in his war with Gastelum. Right. But just the way Masvidal has taken the scene, you have him go into Till's backyard and put him out cold like that. And then the whole interview thing where he's talking and then he walks over and gives the 3-piece and the soda and glides out on Leon Edwards.
Right. He's 4-0 this year. He's not even 3-0. He's 4-0.
Yeah. I feel like that was kind of like the turning point. He crushes Till like that.
Yes.
Does that to Leon Edwards and says that famous line of 3-piece and a soda. And then just to like really pile on and just get the avalanche rolling even faster was beating Askren the way he did. Yeah. And then all the lines after that.
I was talking with the professor before UFC 244, and Israel has been amazing, and I would argue he is second. That's a great call. Unbelievable. He undefeated still, middleweight champion, defeating just in the row, Kelvin to Whitaker. Amazing. So he's right there. I agree. But I just can't remember like moments. Like I'm just a moment guy. To me, Masvidal has the Till. Boom, that knockout was like, oh my gosh. And then the Leon Edwards. There hasn't been one fighter in the history of mixed martial arts in one night went to a title contender kind of a guy to the king of the welterweights in one night like Masvidal did on that night. Then the Askren. So that's another moment. I'm 3 moments in. And then to me, all the media, all this stuff that's going down with Colby Covington down there, an American Top Team, everything keeping him going, the BMF, all this. And then we can talk about the stoppage here too, Cam. But to me, he demolished Diaz for 3 rounds. Like, it was an easy 30-27, maybe even a 30-26 in that first. But the moment of him beating Diaz and The Rock putting the title around his waist, like, come on. Like, Israel had a great year. Unbelievable. And maybe in 2018 he would have won, but this year is the year of Jorge Masvidal.
Yes. I feel like the stoppage, I mean, I understand the stoppage. And it just was very anticlimactic. I feel like everybody will agree to that. You got the BMF title. You have Jorge Masvidal and Diaz. They're just both dogs, and they're going to go in there and fight till somebody goes out. So it just, with that and how much scar tissue Diaz has, we know he's going to be opened up, and maybe the cut was slightly worse than the Pettis fight. But I mean, Tyson Fury had that, his last fight was a nasty cut. That was a worse cut than Diaz's.
Right.
He was able to continue. So, I mean, I feel like the New York, Athletic Commission has some things to work on. But I'm not completely, the more I thought about it, I'm like, okay, like I can understand the stoppage. It just was more as a fan and everybody as a fight fan, it was just very anticlimactic and upsetting it for that reason. I don't think Diaz comes back and gets it done. I think Masvidal still wins. I don't think he finishes Diaz if it doesn't get stopped by the doctor. I think he just dominates the rest of the fight. Maybe Diaz makes it a little closer, but he still loses on all 3 scorecards.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. And of course, no one loves doctor stoppage. Everyone wants to see kind of a TKO or just a 25-minute war. But, at the end of the day, Masvidal gets the win, the BMF, so pumped, but okay. So is there anything else 244 you want to jump at, or can we go into this crazy UFC 250? I think we're above the curve on this. UFC does it big. UFC 100, UFC 200, they always go over the top. So I have my UFC 250 card. Are you ready for this?
Definitely.
Okay, here we go. So I went main card. There's 5 fights. Oh, let me backtrack a little bit. Let me talk to the people at the Fight Bananas community real quick. For one, UFC 245 is coming up in December, and that's the Usman and Max Holloway, Colby Covington, Amanda Nunes is on that card, right?
Yes, sir.
So UFC 246, that's January. That's going to be Conor McGregor, probably versus Cowboy Cerrone. UFC 247.
Sadly.
Okay, whoa. UFC 247 is going to be the lightweight championship match that's finally going to happen. I think we're going to see Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Tony Ferguson. I think 248 is going to be John Jones defending the light heavyweight strap against Corey Anderson. UFC 249 is the trilogy heavyweight championship fight, DC versus Stipe. So in my mind, these are the fights that, these are the main events. You got to have main event fights. So this is, if you don't hear someone on the card, that's why. So, okay, here we go. UFC 250. I got 5 fights. I got 3.5 title fights. And, to kick off the card, you got to have a great fight. You need to hook them in. I don't want a title on the line just yet, so I'm going with the momentum of what Kevin Lee just did at New York City. I got Kevin Lee versus Justin Gaethje.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
That's a solid. That's different than what I wanted, but also what I want is based off a different card as well. But you can continue going, and I'll say mine.
All right, so 4 more. Then this fight needs to happen just to kind of get these weight classes in flow, and you can't main event it with Henry Cejudo. So I got Henry Cejudo versus Dominic Cruz for the Bantamweight Championship. So that slides into the card. Then you got to have the ladies. You got to have some female love, and I love this fight. This is the absolute biggest female fight you can make in the game right now. It's the redemption story, or it's the passing of the torch. I got Joanna Jędrzejczyk versus Zhang Weili. So that's for the straw.
Look at my notes.
Hey, that's for the strawweight title. In the co-main event, I have maybe the co-2019 Fighter of the Year. I got the middleweight championship strap on the line. Israel Adesanya versus Yoel Romero. And then
I think you took my notes.
Hey, man, great minds think alike. You know that. You're the think man here at Fight Bananas. And in the main event, there's nothing better, nothing sweeter. Maybe the BMF title's on the line. We'll see. But it is the Fighter of the Year, the fighter that you love, I love, and everyone else does. Jorge Masvidal versus Conor the Notorious McGregor. That's the main event of UFC 250. Mic drop. See you later. Have a great night.
Yeah, well, I mean, my opinion on that one, I just don't know if Conor deserves Jorge. That's crazy to say, like, just due to the fact that you think of superstardom, like Conor McGregor brings in, literally, if you know fighting at all, or just like one drop of fighting knowledge, you know who Conor McGregor is. But just, I feel like Conor needs to prove himself again, just based off his antics outside of the cage and his past performances. I mean, coming back off of Khabib, he just hasn't fought in a long time.
Well, I got him beating Cowboy at UFC 246. So I got him beating him in January.
I think that, and I don't agree with Conor's timetable. How he said we're thinking him and Cowboy, and then him and Jorge kind of thing. I actually have Conor. If I was gonna do a perfect 250 card, I don't have Conor headlining.
Okay.
I would say, okay, I'll start out with my first fight. I say you got to have a title eliminator. And I have a different thought on the Henry Cejudo fight. So we need to clear up some of this 135-pound division,
right,
and set a clear-cut next title shot. So I said Corey Sandhagen versus Petri Yan.
Okay, I like that
for a title eliminator. That's how you'd open up the card,
right?
And I mean, I think Conor, instead of fighting Cowboy, if he wants that 155-pound title again, he needs to fight Justin Gaethje. I think Gaethje's the next in line after Tony, just due to the fact that Dustin Poirier lost last to Khabib, and Conor. I mean, he could skip the line just because of his name, but if you're thinking about kind of people's streaks and what they've been doing in the division, he's not worthy of a title shot before Justin Gaethje. So the best way to get to the title shot is through Justin Gaethje.
But wait. Cam, do you have your second fight, Conor McGregor versus Gaethje?
I don't know if you put that as your second fight. I mean,
is it the main event?
Well, I kind of had a different card, but you put in the line all those other cards leading up to 250. I was just saying who I thought would be my dream card, basically.
Right.
So I think
Cam,
Conor versus
Conor doesn't not main event. If it was Jesus Christ and Moses in a fight, Conor McGregor main events that. Jesus Christ and Moses is on the undercard. And I'm not even a Conor guy anymore. I'm all in with Jorge Masvidal. But if Donald Trump is fighting Barack Obama, Conor McGregor's the main event.
I kind of had Jorge actually above Conor.
Wow, I love this.
I know he brings in the money and all that. He hasn't gelled with me lately. I just don't like how he's been acting.
No, I agree.
I
want Jorge to baptize him. I want Jorge.
I think he would definitely. He would definitely baptize him.
We agree 100% on that. I think
he's too big. He's too big now.
Dude, he's too big, too fast, too strong, too mean, too vicious. And I think Conor McGregor, most of his fights, a Jose Aldo fight, he beat Jose Aldo before they stepped in that octagon. The fight was already over. He's not
going to do that to Masvidal.
Masvidal is going to love it. He's going to have the most fun he's ever had in his life on the press tour with Conor McGregor.
Yeah, I mean, I think he would get after Conor. I think he'd be done within maybe 2
minutes or 2 rounds?
No, two rounds.
Oh, 2 minutes. Conor doesn't last 100 seconds with Jorge Masvidal. Yeah, I'm telling you, after this podcast, I'm getting into the gym, Cam. You are setting me up. You are rallying me up. Are you?
Oh my gosh. Masvidal definitely hurts Conor, though. I think he definitely hurts Conor.
Okay, so before you get going, I really want to thank N-Still Nutrition, nstillnutrition.com. Check them out, Cam. I know you know them up there in the Panhandle. They're supporting tons of fighters. So before you finish your card, I want everyone to maybe pause the podcast. Okay, it's pause. Go to N-Still Nutrition. Check them out on Facebook. Check them out on Instagram. nstillnutrition.com.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, definitely check them out. Yeah, so I don't know. The whole Jorge Conor thing, I'm not sure if Conor just deserves Jorge. That's the only thing. Right. I think Jorge deserves the payday. Conor, on the other hand, it's like, do you feed Conor to Jorge?
So who else fills out your card at UFC 250?
I mean, I had the Cejudo fight on there. But instead of Dominic Cruz, just because I feel like you need to kind of have one more fight for Dominic Cruz before Cejudo, just because he's been out for a bit. Sterling has been sitting there.
Right.
Aljamain Sterling.
Yeah, I like that. So you had a Cejudo versus Sterling on the 250 card. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I like that. I can dig that. Who else you got?
And I also had Joanna versus Zhang Weili.
Yeah, that's the best.
I had that one.
That's like any female fight in the world. That's just the one you got to make. That's offensively, just it's art. It's going to be an unbelievable fight to watch. Okay, so cool. We're starting to agree, Backhand. We're starting to get back on the same page.
When I kept saying you stole my notes, I have Adesanya versus Romero in there too.
Yep.
That's going to be a good fight. And I mean, those two want to fight each other. Like Israel Adesanya said that's what he wants his next title defense to be because Costa is out right now.
Right.
I mean, if Costa wasn't out, obviously that's the fight I think mainly everybody wants to see just because of kind of the back and forth that they've had. And then I said instead of Jorge versus Conor closing out the show, I say you give Jorge Masvidal the next title shot against the winner of Usman and Colby. And I think Usman's going to get the job done, so I think it would be Usman versus Jorge Masvidal.
Okay. I do like that as well. Will this be the first ever main event UFC championship match that both titles are on the line? So if Masvidal wins, he will be the BMF and welterweight champion. And if Kamaru Usman wins, he will be still welterweight champion, but he will capture the BMF belt. Are you saying that both titles on the line?
I mean, I'd imagine they could possibly agree on that. I don't know how Dana would feel about that happening. He said it was 1-on-1 and there's no other BMF title being given out or switching of hands. It's just 1-of-1 Diaz Masvidal BMF title.
Right.
Even though there's other people that want it. I saw Jeremy Stevens wants to fight Masvidal or Diaz, whoever was going to win for the BMF title. And then he tweeted that out after the Masvidal fight was over. He said he wanted to fight for the title, or for the BMF title. And I was like, okay, pal, slow your roll. That's a little crazy.
For one, that is crazy. And two, I really think it's catching steam. Sometimes, things happen in life. You say it. Amazon used to just sell books, and then they're like, "Hey, let's just send a movie to someone's house, and then let's just send a T-shirt." Next thing you know, Amazon owns the world. You just don't know. Like Dunkin' Donuts just had donuts and hot coffee. Now it's iced coffee and lattes. Like sometimes you just got to roll with it. I just think the BMF title was so hot right now, and Masvidal also is so hot. I think you ride it. I just think you keep going. I don't have the ending for you. I don't know when it stops, but for right now in this moment in early 2020, I think you just roll with this title. And then, when it stops, it stops. Maybe after 2 title defenses and then, you got guys they're not taking it serious or not real guy, whatever. Then you just move on. But for now,
would you create BMF titles for other weight classes?
No, absolutely not.
No?
Nope.
Okay.
It would have to go like Masvidal's 170. So just say, not UL because they're good friends, FRM, first round management for life. Let's just say Israel wants it. And Masvidal fights Israel at UFC 260 for the Fighter of 2020. And if Israel wins it, now it's a middleweight. And then it goes up, and then maybe Bones tries to get it, or it can somehow move through weight classes.
There's one BMF title that could possibly, depending on what weight class.
Yes.
So let's in a different reality, for some reason Tony Ferguson decided to bump up to 170.
Yep.
And fought Jorge, and say he beat Jorge, then he went back down to 155. Now the BMF title's at 155.
Yes.
Okay.
You like that?
Yes. I mean, that would be a cool fight, too. Jorge Masvidal versus Tony Ferguson.
It would be a great fight, but I'm just letting the world know here, everyone listening to this show, Masvidal is not losing this championship belt. This retires.
Am I doing Masvidal for president?
I would vote.
Are you the campaign guy for Masvidal for president?
I've been pushing Jorge Masvidal for the last 10 months on this show, and I just think it has, I don't want all the credit. You know what I mean? Like, he's still fighting. You still got to give him some of the credit on the media stuff, but I want 5%. I want 5% of this hype 5%. Train. You know what I mean? Like, it's amazing. I'm just so happy for him, so happy for his team, everyone down there, American Top Team, Coconut Creek, all the people at First Round Management. It's just, what a year for Jorge
and he's
Masvidal.
He's a real dude.
Oh, he's the man.
Like, he's not fake like some of these other guys carry on to act. Like,
bro, Cam, you fought on the same card, bro. You fought on that Dean Tool promotion card.
And for example, for how much everybody dislikes Colby Covington, and for good measure, I mean, he's said some very horrible things that should not be said. For the most part, it's an act with him trying to get the fans to hate him and all that. He's crossed the line doing so, but it's an act. That's not really his person, I would say. Like, I don't know him, but I wouldn't say that's his person.
Right.
But Masvidal is just Masvidal. That's him.
Genuine to the bone. That is it. Cam, also another really quick plug I want you to know about. Then after that, you throw out your social media plugs. I know what people, tell them what's happening with you, if you got anything coming up towards the end of the year, or if you're saving all your talents for 2020. But right there before that is Mako Tech Mouth Guards. They're another company up there in the Panhandle. They're changing how, fighters and their mouth guards. Check them out on Facebook, Mako Tech Mouth Guards. I'm telling you, Cam, you should get one real soon, all right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Cam, tell the people Instagram, Facebook, tell them what's up with Cam Bennett and his life.
Well, I mean, I remembered my Instagram because you said that. That's important.
Yes, sir.
So it's Cam_Bennett9 is my Instagram. And yeah, I mean, right now it's been school. I know I'm a fighter and all, but school is taking top priority. I'm still getting training done. I've been doing push-ups and pull-ups, so I'm gonna be jacked.
Cam Bennett,
you thought I was strong. Just wait. You thought me lifting people up in the air was cool. I wasn't even lifting weights to do that.
Wow, you look like Arnold Schwarzenegger in the movie Commando. Now you're literally working out. Your opponents have zero shot against you, Cam.
So yeah, somebody might accuse me of PEDs, performance enhancing donuts.
Whoa, hey yo. Hey.
But yeah, I mean, I have an exhibition match for the Max Fit Nutrition anniversary coming up in November 16th. Michael Johnson will be there. Actually, he'll be in for a meet and greet, and he's doing a seminar over at Team Remedy.
Yeah, tell the people about that. Let's drive people there for sure.
Yes, November 15th, he'll be there for a MMA seminar. I'm not exactly sure what he's teaching on, but it should be good. So I want to say it's $50 for the seminar. It's going to be some solid stuff.
That's a great deal right there.
If you're around town, come November 15th, Team Remedy, and check it out. And then come to Max Fit November 16th and check out some exhibition grappling matches, boxing matches, and some MMA matches.
There you go, guys. I cannot wait. So November 15th, November 16th, Cam Bennett, full weekend. Cam, if you don't have anything else, man, that was a great show. UFC 244, one for the ages, once in a lifetime. Maybe UFC 250 can duplicate it. We'll see. If they listen to your card or my card, I think they'll be okay. If not, it is what it is, and then they just have to download the Fight
Holloway?
They got to download the podcast. They got to listen to Fight Banaz. We're on fire. The newest, latest, hottest MMA podcast in the world. I can't even make that up. It's out there. It's out on the internet somewhere. It was amazing. I was like, thanks, man. So, true stories.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, last thing I would say is I'm not fighting for the rest of this year just due to the fact of school and finals. So I got to keep those scholarships. Grades important. I'm not cool enough right now to be a full-time fighter. Maybe one day, but 2020, that's all I know is I'm hurting fools. That's what's on my mind is I want the best, and it's nothing personal. It's just the fight game. I mean, you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. So that's what's on my mind. I got to make up for not being able to fight for the rest of the year. So try and keep busy. I don't want to stay amateur forever. So, I mean, get as many fights as I can as an amateur. I got a set goal in mind that we've talked about with Trey and some of the coaches. And I want the best. So if you think you're the best, let's start lining them up.
Wow, I cannot wait. 2019 was the year of Jorge Masvidal. 2020 could be the year of Cam Bennett. Cam, man, the think man for Fight Bananas. We always appreciate your time. You're welcome on the show anytime. Cam, stay blessed, man. We love you so much. We'll talk to you very soon, brother.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
All right, man. Bye.
Yeah.
Wow, guys, what a great show there. That was Cam Bennett on the line. We went all in with UFC 244. UFC 250 fight predictions. His card was pretty good. I'm not going to lie. His card was pretty good. My card, I think, was bananas. Guys, we want to thank one of our last sponsors here, Warhammer Fightwear. They've been with us since day one, and I love them for it. WarhammerFightwear.com. Check out all their stuff on Amazon. Go in the search bar, put in Warhammer Fightwear, and get the gear right now. You can get stuff for your kids, stuff for your wife, stuff for your niece, your nephew, your uncle, your aunt. Anything you need in the fight game, t-shirts, trucker hats, and more, Warhammer Fightwear has you covered. Wow. What a great show, guys. We're so thankful. The podcast, the numbers, the subscribers, the YouTube, the iHeartRadio listeners, you guys are coming in flocks, and we love you for it. We appreciate it. Keep on passing the word. Keep it going. Tell your neighbors about it. Tell everyone about it, and we will stay blessed. We will stay busy. We will keep on putting out the content because content is king. We appreciate you guys. Stay blessed and have a great night.